Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you here today with an article from The Federalist. It's dated April 29th, and it is entitled, Communist Defectors Warn About 4 Stages of Subversion, and America is on the Last One. Early cough, and I'm not cutting that out. We're just going to keep plowing through it here. And subheadline says, Z. Van Fleet and Yuri Bezmenov witnessed the evil of communism in China and the Soviet Union, and the same evil is at work in the U.S. So it's another thing just to kind of be like, hey, this is actually happening right now, and we need to wake the hell up. It says 40 years ago, a KGB defector, Yuri Bezmenov, revealed the systematic plan, Soviet communists used to take down countries and establish a communist-type society and regime. More recently, a Chinese defector immigrant, Z. Van Fleet, has been on a crusade to warn Americans about the parallels between what is happening in America today and what Mao did in the Chinese Cultural Revolution. And go follow her X account. It's very much worth it for seeing what happened and what she herself actually went through in China, in Mao's China. So the systematic plan Bezmenov revealed involves 4 fluid stages of communist subversion: demoralization, disorientation, crisis, and normalization. In Mao's America, She Van Fleet explains how Mao's destruction of the 4 olds, old ideas, or old culture, old customs, and old habits, is being replicated by today's leftist cancel culture, which will end what is left of freedom in America, if not stop. So we're going to go through each of those items here that Yuri Bezmenov mentioned of communist subversion, starting with demoralization. The first stage in the Bezmenov analysis, demoralization, lasts a generation or more. One of its main thrusts is to undermine the Judeo-Christian beliefs, customs, habits, and traditions that have been foundational to America. These parallel the 4 olds that Mao destroyed in China. Another target for demoralization is the family, which communists want to replace with the state. She Van Fleet points out that just as the Chinese Cultural Revolution turned children against their parents, American families are under increasing attack. Government schools, the medical establishment, and popular culture, which now support the transgender movement, are increasingly turning children against their parents. A third demoralization strategy is breaking the people's loyalty and love for their country by rewriting history, denigrating the founders and national heroes, and destroying historic monuments, again, the 4 olds. In summary, the goal of demoralization is to disconnect people from the virtue of the past and render them unable to assess what is true. Onto disorientation. The second stage of the communist strategy, according to Bezmenov, builds on demoralization to advance society's disorientation, a condition wherein the masses feel bewildered and helpless. While it's impossible to prove intentionality at this time, the China-originated COVID-19 pandemic caused massive disorientation in the U.S. when the government mandated masks, social distancing, quarantines, lockdowns, and the abandonment of tried-and-true medical practices of preventive and therapeutic treatments. Another important part of disorientation happened early in the COVID crisis after the death of George Floyd. Assertions of systemic racism and law enforcement triggered rioting, looting, and the destruction of several $1 billion worth of property, along with the tearing down of historic statues and memorials in many cities across the United States. Americans became further disoriented when they realized government authorities were unable or unwilling to do anything about the destruction in big cities across America. There were few arrests, while more than 2,000 police officers were injured. Disorientation may have reached its peak when cities with the most lawlessness, such as Minneapolis, Seattle, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia, and Baltimore, initiated efforts to defund local law enforcement, which was an obviously stupid idea, but that hasn't stopped them. And we're on to the third stage, which is crisis. So following disorientation, is the crisis stage. An unprecedented crisis stage for America came in November 2020 with election rigging. Democrat operatives exploited the fear factor of COVID-19 in the summer months of 2020. And I feel like now that I've said that election rigging and COVID-19, I'm going to get like multiple of those little notes on my YouTube video saying, this is what this really means. Like, trying to rewrite things. So YouTube, you're going to be playing right into it and essentially proving me right. Proving it, not me, but the article right about what's happening. So they visited almost every swing state to change voting rules to accommodate expanded mail-in ballots, drop boxes, and extended vote tally deadlines, all of which facilitate vote fraud. The crisis that ensued from election irregularity was deepened by the massive media and social media censorship and cancellation campaigns that began well before the November 3rd, 2020 election. The Department of Homeland Security, called the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, better known as CISA, collaborated with the Stanford University NGO Election Integrity Partnership, or EIP, to suppress information that would help Trump. Why would they do that? EIP launched a campaign to prevent the public from challenging the anticipated voting irregularities by getting agreements from all the social media companies, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Reddit, and Pinterest, to modify their customer terms of service policies to incorporate language about delegitimization. Delegitimization. There we go. Once that was accomplished, according to Mike Benz, a former U.S. State Department communications policymaker and an expert on propaganda, the door was open to algorithmic mass censorship and cancellation. There's also a word for that leftists like to use about what just happened there, the government telling corporations what to do and them going along with it. They love to use that word. I can't think of what it is. I'm being very sarcastic, by the way. But you should probably go look up what that means and... yeah. EIP exerted pressure on all the social media companies to adhere to their customer service policies and censor, cancel, or deplatform any content that contained delegitimized narratives about new election protocols and processes, election issues and outcomes, mail-in ballots, early voting, drop boxes, Dominion voting systems, and Antifa. The media treatment of the Hunter Biden laptop story that broke in mid-October 2020 in the New York Post illustrates just how quickly the channels of propaganda and media manipulation fall into place. The laptop story, which contained massive incriminating evidence revealing a compromised Joe Biden family, was immediately delegitimized and taken down from every social media site. Again, there's a word for this, with the government telling corporations what to do, but let's see if you figure out what that is. At the same time, 51 former top intelligence officials signed a letter published in the New York Times and Washington Post stating that the contents of the Hunter Biden laptop had all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation, which it wasn't, and we know that now, that all these folks just lied. After the 2020 election, social media effectively thwarted discussion about election fraud. Again, EIP insisted that social media companies uphold the terms of service contracts that required censoring social media content containing newly delegitimized terms such as Stop the Steal, Dead Voter Rolls, Sharpiegate, Stolen Election, Ballot Harvesting, and Postal Service, to name a few. Additionally, people questioning the integrity of the 2020 election were marginalized by the media and discredited as election deniers. Bezmenov's 4 stages are fluid, so demoralization and disorientation continue in the crisis stage. We see this with lawfare against Donald Trump, his aides, and some 1,200 January 6 protesters or participants arrested by the FBI. Now I'm probably going to get yet another community note on this, or not community note, but one of those fun little notes in the video below from YouTube for saying that whole January 6th thing. But anyway, whatever. So the target is not just Trump and his supporters, but the American people, who are now seeing that large parts of the justice system in America resemble that of a banana republic. With equal justice under the law and respect for the Constitution being mocked, subliminal message is, this is not the America you know. It's a new world that you have entered, so get used to it. And we're on to normalization. While America is still in the crisis stage, some subversion experts agree or argue that the lawfare, censorship, and cancellation regimes that now exist are really part of the last stage of communist takeover known as normalization, Bezmenov's 4th and final stage. If America's borders remain open and the American people are denied access to information, become accustomed to rigged elections, accept limitations on free speech, and acquiesce to the rewriting of history, the constitutional republic that was the United States will be gone, and the new world of communist global elite control will be normalized. John Adams, the second president, unequivocally warned, liberty once lost is lost forever. It is no longer enough just to man the ramparts. It's time for the people to turn the tables on the elite destroyers of our constitutional republic. And I'd like to know how we're supposed to do that, but I think there are ways to do it. And what do you guys think about this? And I make this video just to say, like, this is, again, like I said at the beginning, this is a thing that's happening, and we need to be very well aware of it because it is in fact going on. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is what's happening right now, and we're living through it. So we need to stop it before things turn really, really bad. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon.